The Ugly Duckling by Boyd Campbell.
There once was an ugly duckling with feathers all stubby and brown, and the other birds in so many words said, "Get out of town, get out, get out, get out of town." And he went with a quack and a waddle and a quack in a flurry of eider down. Would you like me to tell you the rest of the story? All right. That poor little ugly duckling went wandering far and near, but at every place they said to his face, "Now get out of here. Get out, get out, get out of here." And he went with a quack and a waddle and a quack and a very unhappy tear.
It's 4:45 in the morning. Feist Dog says I have to start work before Daddy wakes up. You'd be surprised how often that happens. For an imaginary dog, he's pretty demanding. I don't mind. From 5 o'clock in the morning until he leaves at 6, I have Daddy all to myself, only sharing him with an imaginary dog on the radio. James Boyd Campbell, born May 10th, 1931, in Jackson, Mississippi, died on April 10th, 1992, also in Jackson, Mississippi. From this statistic, you'd think he never went far in life. He went far enough that a little boy missed him for most of his boyhood. Daddy loved me, and he loved spending time with me, but the world needed him. I'm finding that the world might need me too. I once tried to prevent that. That's not the hard part. The hard part is that baby sister, the one who might have been born with a tail, was born on April 12th, in a year I won't mention, but her next birthday ends in a 0. Neither of us thought I'd live to see her turn this age. To me, she's perpetually 19, preserved in amber. Deciding to attend Millsaps College, my mother pulled me aside to have a talk about sharing the same social space as my sister. I'd already menaced a few of her insufficient beaus. She wanted to make sure I gave her enough room to breathe. A year later, Mama remarked on how our friendship had really blossomed since Martha went to Millsaps. "Well, yeah, she showed up at school and exploded," I said. Despite the tale, I always figured baby sister would be queen of the world by now. Up until Daddy's death, she had always dominated every space she entered. After his death, there were people determined that she wouldn't try to reclaim her daddy's empire. The same thing happened to me. We'll discuss that another day. There's still time for a coronation. She's much better preserved than Uncle Boyd. Mr. Jim wants to see you in his office. A pink note on my desk said when I got back from lunch. He might have wanted to talk about firing a girl who only dated me so I'd give her a job, then proved utterly useless in her job. Honestly, I just wanted somebody to hang out with. I had no idea she'd spend 6 months begging me for a job, a loan, or both. Either that, or he wanted to discuss my escape plan. Since the entire world wanted to talk about the record-breaking wedding baby sister just had, or the slightly smaller wedding older brother just had, news that Uncle Boyd was moving to Hollywood would have to wait until his birthday in June. I really didn't want to steal anybody's thunder. Plus, I've never enjoyed getting attention. Lately, I've been getting a lot more than I'm used to. Daddy died days before baby sister's birthday and months before mine. I never really discussed the escape plan till more than 40 years later, when I started writing in earnest. We were going to announce it at Sunday lunch at the country club. Daddy couldn't make it. He was in a hole in the ground. I changed clothes 3 times yesterday. The middle change was workout clothes. I'm working out hard enough to sweat and develop some muscle soreness. Since I died, they've been having me use rehabilitation weights, smaller dumbbells, and a lot of goddamn elastic bands. I know every exercise you can do with elastic bands. 2 weeks ago, I texted baby sister and little bird a phone photo of a rack of genuine dumbbells. Big boy weights, sideways smiley face. The feel of genuine iron in my hands was remarkably restorative. Around 8:30 last night, I texted the little bird and her mom, my final fit of the day. A white shirt and a Nicole Miller tie. Nicole Miller ties used to mean you were aggressive but artistic. I was one of the few people in Jackson who wore them, but everybody I knew in Hollywood wore them, including Harlan Ellison. My friend Forrest J. Ackerman invented the phrase sci-fi. Ellison famously said it sounded like copulating crickets. If you say sci-fi over and over in your head, it kind of does. People are amazed at the influence New Wave and Golden Age science fiction writers had over me. Well, yeah. We ate pie together. Pie is a thing in L.A. At least it used to be.
You look handsome.
The little bird says. I look tired. It's been a long day. I text back.
I hope it was bearable.
She replies. The world has welcomed me back. I don't mind the work. It makes me feel alive. The little bird is the only child of my first and best friend. 7 years younger than the everything kid, they comprise the women I text in the middle of the day when I don't understand things, which happens a lot. Sometimes I say she is my protege. Sometimes I say she's my best friend. Both are true. The everything kid, despite my best advice, has her second child landing at Millsaps like a meteorite in the fall of 2026. She wants to be the boss. There's a fairly good chance of that. I remind her that it's inappropriate for her to have a 19-year-old child since she is just 19 herself. She reminds me of her actual age, and I'm pretty sure she's lying. Women can lie about their age, you know. The everything kid came to Millsaps looking like the cover of Teen Vogue. Then Brent gave her a power saw, and that was the end of that model nonsense. There was an actual model in Alpha Psi Omega at the time, as she constantly reminded us. Like a lot of people who become famous for their looks and not enjoying power tools, she found it difficult to make friends, so she nestled in the feathers of my back like a naked cygnet on a cold winter's day. Cygnets are baby swans. Drake swans are a lot meaner and more aggressive than you'd imagine. That's me, but they're kind to the little ones. When I was a child, afraid of the world and hurt by how broken I was, I'd listen to an album by Danny Kaye, made for the film Hans Christian Andersen, on my toy record player. There once was an ugly duckling, with feathers all stubby and brown. And the other birds, in so many words, said, "Quack, get out of town. Quack, get out. Quack, quack, get out. Quack, quack, get out of town." And he went with a quack and a waddle and a quack in a flurry of eiderdown. "Mama, why am I so ugly?"
You're not ugly, baby. Why would you ever say that?
I don't look like the other kids. They don't like me.
Come here, baby. You're not ugly. Don't ever say you're ugly.
58 years later, Little Bird's mom reminds me to stop saying I'm ugly. I became aware that the little bird existed in this world because of a photograph of her looking somewhat bewildered on her mama's hip. 34 years later, we're best friends. I tell her I was committed to her 100 years before she was born. I go way back with her family. Her cousin's portrait hangs in the Millsaps library. Growing up, knowing that one of Daddy's best friends was the Commandant of the Marine Corps was both intimidating and exhilarating. There was never a moment when I wasn't aware that for my entire childhood, I was playing amongst the feet of giants. "Get the General a drink, would you, buddy?" "Yes, sir. Anything, Mr. Taylor?" "Call me Rowan, not right this minute." It took several months for the little bird to stop calling me Mr. Campbell. I sincerely dislike that. My dad's dead. I tell people when they try to call me Mr. Campbell, "I'm just Boyd." Little Bird started her own magazine. She had to shut it down because it's incredibly hard to keep a magazine going these days, but she tried. If you don't fail, you're not trying. If you don't fail, you'll never succeed. I've told her all this, but she still feels like a failure. Once baby sister is tired of being queen of the world, I'm going to run the little bird for the job. Her magazine was about mental health. I write about mental health too. She published one of my stories. I reworked the original story about Katie. Katie was my first girlfriend. We were 13. I lived to be 14, but she didn't. Katie took her own life. This and other things put me on a lifelong path of trying to understand these things. Katie's death created in me a lifelong struggle with intimacy. I don't think I've ever had a normal romantic relationship. I don't think I'll try anymore. I've had enough of lycanthropes. That's a joke. My wife was brilliant and lovely. She just didn't understand me very well, mainly because before I started letting people see what I wrote, I wouldn't let anybody understand me. Even now, talking to me is useless. You have to read my stories and encourage letters. I write the best letters. My mental health curriculum vitae runs like this. I was born with severe dyslexia and all the associated disorders, including a pronounced stutter that Dr. Alexander swore would get better before the first grade. He missed it by 6 months. I also have weapons grade ADHD, which is an issue with the same parts of the brain. These things led to a persistent generalized anxiety disorder. GAD can lead to symptoms like bipolar, but with much longer cycles. I don't cycle. I have persistent depressive disorder. To me, PDD is better than bipolar because it seems like the stretching between the highs and the lows is what makes bipolar so difficult to deal with. I just have a sort of steady state of depression. Oh, look, it's going to rain.
What do you mean there's not a cloud in the sky?
No, but there will be. Just wait. No wonder my wife took up lycanthropy. Both GAD and PDD create something called imposter syndrome. With imposter syndrome, you never feel like you've earned anything you actually have earned. I have it in spades. To fight it, I've decided to discuss those times very openly when I actually did fail, so that I can see the difference myself. I'm not so good at writing about the times when I don't fail, but I'm working on it, and they're sometimes implied in what I write anyway. I think baby sister has imposter syndrome too. When we were younger, I was pretty stingy about saying, "You realize that you're fucking amazing, don't you?" I've resolved to get better about that. Going into the cave, I cut myself off from the entire world, including Brent and baby sister. I used to shop for groceries at 3 a.m. so nobody would see me. The everything kid caught me. She's kind of a night denizen. The day I died, I called the baby sister to say that if I don't go to the hospital, that'll be the end of me. Technically, I'm in my 4th year of rehab, but as you may have noticed, there's been a significant uptick in the rate of growth. There are reasons for this. If I mention them, I'll get in trouble. A friend said,
You should paint more.
"How much?" I asked.
Every day.
She joked. For some people, presenting a challenge, even as a joke, means I'm going to give it a shot. I'd capture the moon for her, so new art every day should be easy. I actually did capture the moon once. That's a long story. I've decided on 2 things about the New Art Everyday Challenge. First, it has to be every day. Some days it can be 2 things, maybe a sketch and a painting, but it has to be something every day. Even if it's just painting a model kit, which I kind of need to do before the next one gets here. Wait till you see the next one. The other thing I decided was that, good or bad, success or failure, I'd put the results on Instagram. This is kind of a personal responsibility thing. My social media following has grown curiously large, shocking really. I wasn't trying to do that. I was just adding people I liked. If I say I'm going to post every day and then skip a day, then somebody is going to notice. I also want people to see when I fail. Seeing when I fail and showing people when I fail means it's okay for them to fail too. If you're not failing, then you're not trying. It also helps with my imposter syndrome because knowing the difference between when I actually fuck up and when I just feel like I fucked up is kind of the key to the whole thing. I told the little bird that after so many meetings I was pretty tired yesterday. If I miss a day of new art every day, it's okay because I did two the day before. I know this child loves me. I love her like she's my own child, which she's not. She's her child, which makes it even more important. She's also my best friend and favorite companion. My nephew is getting married in New Orleans next Halloween. I know, trust me, I've told him. I've been to New Orleans on Halloween. They want to try it. I invited the little bird to go with me. My brother-in-law said, "What are you going to do with this girl in New Orleans on Halloween?" "What's she going to do with me?" I replied. The last time she went to New Orleans, she tried to pet an alligator. She sent me a video. In the video, you can very clearly hear her voice saying, "Hey buddy, hey buddy." While an actual dinosaur, larger than she is, swims toward the boat, wagging its tail. And lo, the beast looked upon the face of beauty. It's almost 6. Feist dog peed on the sofa. I guess he needed to go out. Imaginary dogs can be a pain. Daddy dies again tomorrow, all over again. Don't mention it, seriously, just let it pass. I'm okay, I'm better than okay. I'm back, I'm seriously back. I'm motivated, I'm working, I'm productive as hell, I'm fine, really. It took a while, but I'm back. The poor night returns. Before going to bed before midnight, I texted another photo to the little bird. New art. Every day, bacon and eggs. Day 24. You'd better be asleep. You'll see this when you wake up in the morning. I love you. You're my best friend.
The Life of Boyd is a reader-supported publication. To receive new posts and support my work,
There once was an
consider becoming a
ugly
free or paid
duckling
subscriber.
with feathers all stubby and brown, and the other birds in so many words said, "Get out of town, get out, get out, get out of town." And he went with a quack and a waddle and a quack in a flurry of eider down. Would you like me to tell you the rest of the story? All right. That poor little ugly duckling went wandering far and near, but at every place they said to his face, "Now get out of here. Get out, get out, get out of here." And he went with a quack and a waddle and a quack and a very unhappy tear.